Hey all the future assistant professors, welcome back to Winglish by Pooja Singh. Today we are going to discuss one of the most and influential critic of 20th century, that is F.R. Leavis, and you must have seen him giving comments and a lot of critical comments about T.S. Eliot and the Great Tradition and the Wasteland. So he was the one who was giving all of them. So if you haven't watched the new criticism, if you haven't watched what literary theory means, and if you does not know what syllabus means, so kindly I'll tell you, first go with the syllabus, then understand what literary theory means and new criticism, because it is all interconnected. So I would request you, please go and watch the complete playlist from starting. So before starting F.R. Leavis, I'll just tell you one important thing, that F.R. Leavis was used to like Jane Austen a lot in a good way. Everybody has its own taste and temperaments, and we fix one idol that yes, he or she is my idol, that I would be following him or her. So he used to admire Jane Austen a lot, and you will get to know why. So the very first thing, I'll be starting with the full name, Frank Raymond Leavis. He was a British literary critic associated with the Cambridge University. He believed that literature is not just for art's sake, but a model for shaping culture and human values. See, the very important thing that you have to understand is everybody has its own taste and temperaments. Everybody has its own opinion. So you have to mention the opinions very clearly. Okay. So he founded the journal Scrutiny. Again, very important question. Reputation in UGC NET again and again, with his wife Q.D. Leavis, which became a hub for serious literary criticism. So these are very important things. Please, I would like to tell you, please note down in your copy. And with her, he found the journal. It is a new vehicle, and they were the only one that attacked. They attacked whom? They attacked the Bloomsbury group. Okay. So they were the one who attacked the Bloomsbury group. Okay. So always connect Leavis with the scrutiny and the moral seriousness in the literature. Now we'll be talking about the important works of F.R. Leavis. The very first one is New Bearings in English Poetry, 1932. Discussed modernist poets like Eliot, Pound and Hopkins. Revaluation, 1936. Critical essays on English poets, reassessing the canon. Then the most important work, The Great Tradition, 1948, his most famous work, focusing on the English novel. Okay. Then the fourth one, The Common Pursuit. It is a collection of critical essays. Then the fifth one, Education and the University, 1943. Stress literature as the essential for moral education. So these are the important works that you should be knowing the name, because a lot of question has been appeared in UGC NET examination, that always you have to match the following question. Okay. Now we are going to discuss about what is about the Great Tradition. So in this book, Leavis defined the true tradition of the English novel. What the true tradition means. He excludes many popular novelists and focus only a few. This is very important. Please mark it. It is very important in his view. He combined artistic excellence with the moral seriousness. Now, why? Why did he excluded many popular novelists and focuses only few? Why? Because he used to like Jane Austen and he was his favorite. Now, his chosen Great Tradition novelists are very important. Kindly note it down. Okay, this is very important. Jane Austen, George Eliot, Henry James and Joseph Conrad. Dickens was initially excluded, but later Leavis revised his view in the Dickens, the novelist. Leavis' idea is about great literature means. Now he is saying that why I have excluded them, that whenever a writer follows a great writer, if I'm writing if I'm a new writer and I'm writing and I'm following their works like Jane Austen's work, George Eliot works, Henry James and Conrad works, and my themes and my style of writing matches with them and I do correlate with them, then only great writer follow the great tradition. And Jane Austen is the center. What? Jane Austen Jane Austen is the center for the English tradition, and if anyone appreciates her work and learns from her, that person gets to included in the great tradition. So you have to remember this one. This is very important point. So what great literature must be? It should show some seriousness of moral purpose, be rooted in life and human values, and display technical excellence. So that is why Jane Austen is very important from F.R. Leavis. Now what did he say? He also said one thing, that I have excluded Charlotte Bronte. I have excluded Charlotte Bronte and Anthony Trollope. Why? Because they did not appreciate Jane Austen. So they did not appreciate Jane Austen. That is why he did not included him in a great tradition. So that is why he says Matthew Arnold and T.S. Eliot objective and have some standard should be there. Then only you can understand. Like we have to comparing with the great tradition. Some like Matthew Arnold we have, as we have discussed in the literary criticism. They uses touchstone method comparing it with the great ancient. So that is why what he has done, he has kept Jane Austen for the comparison of the great tradition. Now we will be talking about Leavis on T.S. Eliot Wasteland. What are his views on the Eliot's Wasteland? So Leavis admired Eliot but also critiqued him. So I have always mentioned, and in the very initial chapters of literary criticism, I have mentioned that criticism does not only means about the negative comments. It is that I am suggesting something, I'm suggesting some rules or regulations or my opinions so that you can be a better version of yourself. So this is what a criticism means. It should not be only the negative comments. It should not only that I have given the suggestions and the drawbacks that no, your poetry is a bullshit. No, you cannot say that. Okay, it is like, okay, these are the lines, but you could have used this rhythm here. These are the line, but you could have used this specific meter here. So this is the criticism. This is the saying away. In New Beginnings English Poetry, later essays, Leavis praised the Wasteland as a landmark of modern poetry. He saw that in T.S. Eliot, if you have read Wasteland, it talks about fragmentation, disillusionment, and the spiritual emptiness of post-World War I Europe. And if you talk about the modern society, 20th century, it's all about the characteristics of the people are fragmented, disillusion, decentralization, no human connection. So he criticized Eliot for being overly intellectual and dependent on notes and references that common readers might not follow. So that was his, opinion of that. For Leavis, poetry should only connect deeply with moral life and not only with the erudition. Okay. If in the examination it asks about the Wasteland, do mention that Leavis both acknowledged its greatness and question its accessibility, and that what great critic do. Now, if we talk about the Leavis' contribution to literary criticism, he has introduced the idea of the moral seriousness in literature. He helped shape the canon of English novels through the great tradition. It's important work. And the promoted close reading, but with a focus on values, unlike the new critics which emphasizes only the form. But he also focused on what? He also focused on the values. Now, he influenced decades of students through scrutiny general. Again, it is very important. Now, if you talk about, in nutshell, what we have talked about, he is linked with the scrutiny journal. He is famous for the great tradition. He advocated what? Moral seriousness. This is for your revision literature. And he offered both praise and critique of the Eliot's Wasteland. So that's it for today. If we'll have, let's see what we have talked about. F.R. Leavis, what did he liked Jane Austen and he kept Jane Austen as the comparison. Then we went through the major works of F.R. Leavis, New Beginnings, Revaluation, Great Tradition, Common Pursuit, Education and University. In the Great Tradition, we discussed in detail about what it is. Then also saw the views on what did he say about the T.S. Eliot Wasteland. So this is it for today for literary theory on F.R. Leavis. If you found this video helpful, do not forget to like, share with your friends, and do subscribe for more net videos. And see you in the next video. And yes, if you haven't watched the starting videos, please watch that, because new criticism, I.R. Richards, William Emerson, these all are connected with the new criticism. So make sure you watch them alone. Till then, keep learning, keep shining. Take care. Bye bye.